Almost 400 days of this hardcore series has been a nightmare to traverse around our Dwarven Empire, and I'm changing that today. I'm going to build the most ridiculous water elevator you've probably ever seen, whilst keeping it in theme with the world. Before we get into this video, I really hope that you'll consider hitting the sub button and liking the video. Let's get into it. Well, we've had a lovely break, and we are currently waiting for these potatoes to bake because we ran out of food. Meanwhile, I would like to have a quick word with you guys. I know I waffle on a lot, but there's something I need to talk about. Why didn't you guys tell me that I had a cape? Literally, I didn't realise that they actually released a cape for people that migrated their accounts. Literally, had no idea. Anyway, let's get on with the video. But before we can get building in this episode, we have to gather a bunch of resources, so that's the first thing that we need to get on with. And we've ran into a mine, which is an interesting find at this moment in the game. I'm really sort of focused right now on getting these resources, so we'll come back to this. Probably dig out this spawner before we get poisoned. Put all the cobble in our Dwarven super smelter. We didn't actually get as much cobble as I was hoping, but we've already got some in the chest, so it's fine. We need to run back to our base real quick because I am going to have to empty every little thing out of my inventory because I'm going to need every slot for what we're about to build. Well, that should be more than enough to get started with what we need. So we need to mark out a 24 by 24 square in the floor before I can just talk about this build. I did actually previously mark it out using a smooth deep slate block, but I need to move it over one basically. So I just need to run around and move all of this build over by one and then just double check all of its dimensions to make sure that this is exactly correct. Alright, now before we get started and again talking about what we're going to be doing, I need to clear out all of this area which is going to be blocking where we're going to build. So I'm actually just going to go ahead and very quickly dig this all out, and we'll be back in just a second. Alrighty then, so we've dug out a little bit, and I was supposed to clear out all of this area and all of this, but I kind of said to myself, why? What's the point in wasting, like, literally probably about an hour to 2 hours digging out all this area, trying not to die, when I can just do what a dwarf would do and just build around it and build into it and just make it a part of the design. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing we need to do is literally build the first base, and we're going to do that on camera before we time-lapse the rest because it gives me the opportunity to talk about what we're going to do. So we're going to make some stone bricks, and we're going to need about 2 stacks, and we're not going to make this a solid build all the way through. It is just going to be a sort of hollow build because you're going to see why in just a bit, but this should be 24 blocks by 24 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 24. So this is 24 by 24. So now all we have to do is finish off the other edges, and we're going to do that whilst talking about what we're actually building. So if any of you have seen The Lord of the Rings, you'll know that the dwarves have actually built a lot of pillars inside their bases, and I've had a great amazing idea because of how fantastically amazingly intelligent I am. I couldn't even switch it around. That just basically goes to show you how not intelligent I am. What I want to do is I want to build a pillar, which is going to look like a big stone pillar that's supporting up the big cave area, but build a water elevator inside the actual pillar design. So this is going to be an area which will have a water elevator going up and down, which will connect up to that bridge up there, and then down here we're going to have a bridge coming out of it. And then I'm also going to do something special with this area which ties in with the water flowing down there, but I'm not going to talk about it just yet because we're going to time-lapse the heck out of this build. So let's get to it. Alrighty then, so we've actually gone ahead and built most of this pillar. Now we're actually still quite a little bit off finishing it, but I thought I'd take a quick break because I need to now build the segment which goes into the roof of the cave. But I don't want to be working on the roof without any sort of support underneath, because if you look straight down, it's a long way to fall and that will kill me. So I'm going to go ahead and go and grab some spare blocks that I'm not using to build with, so that we can build a platform so that I can build the roof bit a bit more safely. So let's go and get some bricks. As annoying as it is, I think I'll use drip zone bricks just because they are probably the most contrasty blocks to kind of what we're building with, and I'll know, you know, what to dig up at the end of it. I don't want to accidentally dig up half the pillar. So let's just quickly make a platform and we can get to work. And this has already taken me like 2 days to do. So let's just get to work. Well, as you can tell by the current clip playing over this, that I had to actually go ahead and adjust this bridge by taking it in 1 or 2 blocks so that it would line up with our pillar so that it didn't look off center, because I know that a couple of people that watch these videos have OCD. Luke, I'm looking at you. Anyway, moving on, we need to now get on to building the actual elevator and planning out where we're going to build the bridge at the bottom end that comes out of the other side. So the first thing we're going to do is get on to the elevator. So in order to do that, we need to build a floor at this level, and I think we'll just do it out of stone brick, and we'll go through later on and we will basically just alternate the bricks so that it fits the bridge and it all looks part of the same design. And we also need to start lighting up inside here because we do have a lot of mobs spawning. Place down some slabs so that we can carry on the fencing. Have a look at this. I think it needs a bit of work, but it'll do for now. And we place down the final bit of water. I was going to build the elevator to come up to like this level so you could like step in and out, but I think what I'm going to do is actually just make it so that it comes up to this point and then you pop out or you jump in and you go all the way down, and that way it just makes this look a lot more simple and a lot more cleaner. But we've got a lot of work to do, because as we come down here, you'll realize that this is just one hollow empty thing, and we need to essentially have this filled up so that as we turn these into solid water blocks, it doesn't spread everywhere. So we've got a lot of building to do around this, so we need to get on with it. So I think we're going to need a lot more stone, so I've come back to the area where I've been gathering stone for this project. Now, if you'll recognize the area, it's basically this point of the bridge, and I decided to use this as our stone gathering place because I have an epic plan for this segment of the base, and I know exactly what I want to do for the next couple of big projects, but it involves digging out this area. So I thought I can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. I can start digging out the area as well as gather stone for the project. We need to figure out exactly where we are going to place the bridge entrance coming out of this side at the bottom, because this is going to determine where we build the ground floor inside of the column. Now I want the bridge to kind of come up to the same level as this. So what Y level is this? This is -10, and that's could be slightly problematic. I think we're going to have to make it come out of that section there, and then we just turn that bit into the doorway, and then the bridge starts at that level, because I don't want to kind of dig halfway into this bit, and that would just make the most sense. So let's get in there and build the floor. Now we need to get to work in actually building up the cobble, placing down the magma blocks and the soul sand, and just generally building the elevators. So let's just get it done. Oh, that was close. Now we need to make it look like a naturally carved out cave inside. So I think all we have to do is just use smooth stone and just go around and just kind of add in different levels and just make it look as natural as possible. Right, we're down at the bottom, and I'm sure somebody's probably going to tell me in the comments that there's a much better way of doing this, but we need to stop the water from when it turns into a solid water block from spilling out, and the only way that I know how to do that is either fence gates or signposts, and this probably isn't going to look the greatest, honestly, but unless somebody else has a sort of different idea on how we can do this, I don't really see any other way of being able to do it. So what I do want to do is just try and keep these signs as straight as possible. And then we can play. Hey guys, this is Editing Mike here. I just wanted to interject. As I was editing this video, I realized there was indeed a different way that I could have done this design, and instead of using signs, I could just use these spruce trap doors. All I have to do is just place one on top of the other, like so, and in my opinion, that looks way better. Anyway, let's jump back to the video. And there we are, we've got up and down. So now, just to show you how this works, if you've never used one of these before, is these blocks basically create a push and a pull system when created under a solid water block. So if I go over the soul sand, just like the skeleton farm, we get shot up into the air, and just as if we go down the magma block, we get sucked all the way down to the bottom, and we just have to make sure to hold shift so that we don't take damage. And there we are. We've got a fully working elevator system. Now we can get on with building this bridge. Now I am going to time-lapse this because this is basically just repeating the bridge that we've got up there, which we built back in like episode 2 or episode 3. I can't quite remember. Don't judge me. So let's get on with it. What I wanted to quickly explain before I actually got on with this is our plan. I realized that I never actually fully divulged the plan for this area, and I know I waffle on a lot and I'm trying to cut it down, but I feel like this is really important to the kind of lore and design of the world. Well, the waterfall is kind of crashing down, but it has nowhere to go, and that's where I decided that I'm actually going to turn this whole area of the base of this column into a very small lake. Forgetting my wife rudely interrupting me about that phone call, I've completely lost where I was. Ah, yes. The plan. The plan is to basically turn this area into a lake. And then what we're going to do is design some little dwarven fishing huts and a little pier system, which is going out to the base of the crane and then goes out into the water a little bit. And then we'll put some moss around here and some vines and a bit more of the natural lighting. And this will just be a really good way to tie in the water from the ceilings crashing down. And it will also give us some fishermen, some tradesmen that we can trade fish with and other bits. We're not really needing fishermen a whole lot in this series, admittedly, but I just thought we may as well get them and we may as well tie them into the world. And this is how we're going to do it. So let's time-lapse the rest of this. Well, now the time-lapse is done, we have the river almost done. It might be best to dig out this area and then build it at the same level as the water. It doesn't make sense to build it up here at the higher level. Yeah, so I think what I'm going to do is very quickly just dig this area out. I'll be back in a sec. Ta-da! Okay, so the plan is to make this area into the actual hut. We'll use this tall column as a design base, as well as the other house, or sort of half house that we made for the animals upstairs. Using both designs, we're going to try and level up our house design for the dwarves. So the first thing we want to do is just go ahead and build a very quick window that kind of overlooks this area. I don't know which one you guys prefer, but I kind of prefer the sort of narrower design. So unless you guys think different, leave a comment down below if you guys think different and you think the other design was way better. Let me know and I'll probably just change it back. But then all we're going to do is just build another row above here. Well, that's been a productive kind of day. I didn't expect to get this much done. As per very stereotypical Mike, I had this huge idea of what I wanted to get done in this video, and as usual, I didn't quite get it all done, which is, you know, standard. Anyway, so we're moving on, and we're gonna get some stuff done. Between maybe at the start of the next episode or in between episodes. I think what I need to do is just quickly light up this place in front of me, because I think it's gonna probably cause a few issues, and I'll probably make this look a lot better again in a future episode. I know I tend to do this a lot, but I get distracted on different projects and then I come back to it, and I always like to come back to it with a fresh pair of eyes. However, I think for today this has been a pretty productive video, and I think I will go ahead and leave you guys here. We've managed to get this entire column built, which has a disguised water elevator, so we can now easily get up and down instead of running all the way backwards and forwards, all the way up and round. We can just easily go up and down here. We've managed to get a water pull system with the current design so that it makes more sense that the iron comes down here, gets transported across the water. I might end up extending this across in the future, and just making it look like it travels across, and then have an iron processing plant down here, and then kind of just maybe get rid of this or change it up. But I also didn't get some villagers in, but I didn't really think I needed to show that on camera. I think I can just go ahead and do that when I get some a spare minute, maybe later on tonight. I can just get a couple of villagers down here, trap them in there, make them into fishermen, and then that will be that bit pretty much done. And then the next bit we need to turn our attention to in the next episode is expanding out in this direction. And I have a couple of huge, massive projects coming up in the next couple of weeks, so you may want to keep your eyes peeled for that one, because it's going to be insane. But for now, it's me, Mickey T, also known as the Mike James. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye!